Nigeria Labour Congress holds nationwide protests at Labour Party headquarters. Service chiefs, senators in closed-door session over soldiers' killing in Delta State. Experts warn against using charcoal or the substance as 2024 World Oral Health Day is commemorated. On the foreign scene, Blinken heads the Middle East for the 6th time in Gaza diplomacy push. Hello again and welcome to the news update on Trust Television at this hour. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for joining us. Now the news is info, and we'll begin with labor matters. Members of the Nigeria Labour Congress marched to the national headquarters of the Labour Party on Wednesday, disrupting regular activities. The organised labour is demanding the immediate of the party's national chairman, Julius Abure, citing contempt for the leadership of the Labour Union.
Labour Party was registered by the NLC, Nigerian Labour Congress. Labour Party belongs to Nigerian Labour Congress. Now, we are saying that this is injury time. Abure has been rubbing salt into the injury. Abure is a coup plotter, political coup plotter. He was made secretary of Labour Party in June 2019. In March 2021, Abure transformed into chairman of Labour Party. By himself, he plotted a coup. And since that time, there have been court rulings. There have been agreements initiated by INEC requesting Abure to do the normal thing.
Comrade, I have the secretary of the political commission who have been engaging Abure, thinking that he's a normal human being, thinking that he was going to follow the due process, thinking that he was going to organize a convention in line with the understanding with Labour to have an all-inclusive convention. The Abure, knowing that he can never survive an all-inclusive convention, wanted to do a convention in the night. Comrade Chris Oyot is the secretary of the commission, and together with his colleagues, they have done a lot of effort before we reach this stage of taking over our party by ourselves.
Similarly, the Kaduna State chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress on Wednesday joined the national body to stage a protest demanding the resignation of the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure. Although the national body of the union picketed the national headquarters of the Labour Party in Abuja, in Kaduna, the chapter only protested without blocking the state secretariat of the party. The state chairman of the NLC, Ayuba Suleiman, in an interview with Trust TV, said the struggle is to put the party on the right path.
So it is expected the same here in Kaduna this morning. Today that we picket the Labour Party office in Kaduna. But in Kaduna we have a situation whereby the Labour Party office is not operational. But we have contacted the leadership. Although even in Kaduna there are two factions claiming the leadership. But we were able, as leaders of the Congress, coming together with the state political committee, we have discussed with some members of the leadership of the party. Labour Party was duly registered by Nigeria Labour Congress. So we are the bona fide owners by that status of the Labour Party. But this is a political party. You can't deny any other person to join the party, because if you are doing politics, you need all people to come on board.
Also, the leadership of the Labour Party has described the unlawful break and entry into its national headquarters by an arm of the Nigeria Labour Congress as a criminal act, a misplacement of priority, and an action done in bad faith. In a statement issued by the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, Obiora Ifo, The party also alleged that the NLC President Joe Ajaro's greed and inordinate ambition have pushed him into losing every sense of discretion and decency in his recent conducts, be it in his affairs with the workers or even the government. According to the party, Ajaro's continuous claim that the NLC owns the Labour Party is not in any way supported by either the Electoral Act or the Constitution. The statement maintained that a political party is owned by those who are card-carrying or financial members of the party, noting that more than 90% of the members of the NLC have not met this condition and therefore cannot claim to be owners of the party. The party, while alleging that the invasion of its national secretariat appears to be a personal vendetta against the national chairman, Julius Abure, whom Labour has called several unprintable names, vowed to take legal action on matters of libel. Meanwhile, in a swift response, the Nigerian Labour Congress has alleged that the Labour Party national chairman, Julius Abure, has severally violated a court judgment and an INEC-supervised terms of settlement that mandates an all-inclusive national convention of the Labour Party. The NLC, in a statement by its political commission, accused Abure of seeking to evade the fundamental issues raised in its last press release, where it demanded for his immediate resignation for convening a national convention that the national chairman had no sole proprietorship over. The statement reminded Abure that the Nigeria Labour Congress remains the institutional trustees of the Labour Party, as it is backed by the fact of history, law and court pronouncement. It reminded the national chairman that a 20th March 2018 judgment by Justice Gabriel Kolawole pronounced that Labour Party is owned by the Nigeria Labour Congress and that an all-inclusive national convention should be held to right all the wrongs that have been foisted on the Labour Party for some time now. The NLC Political Commission said, as the midwife of the Labour Party, it will not jettison the mandate placed on its shoulders by Nigerian workers, adding that Abure knows that the follow-up agreement he signed with organized labour in 2022 demanded for an all-inclusive national convention of which various stakeholders would collectively develop the convention details in terms of itinerary, agenda, and process. Now, away from that, service chiefs on Wednesday appeared before the Senate Joint Committee on Army, Navy, Defense and Air Force to begin an investigative hearing on the gruesome killing of military personnel in Okwama community in Ugeli South local government area of Delta State. A minute silence was first observed for the souls of the slain soldiers. Given the sensitivity of the matter, the chairman of the Joint Committee, Ahmed Lawan, disclosed that the investigative hearing will be held behind closed doors. The Defense Headquarters had on Monday released the first of 17 military personnel killed in the attack during a peace mission to warring communities in the area. Days after the gruesome murder, the Defense Headquarters said 17 personnel, including the commanding officer of 181 Amphibious Battalion, 2 majors, 1 captain, and 12 personnel of the battalion were among those killed. The murder has continued to draw condemnation from authorities in Nigeria, with President Bola Tinubu describing it as an attack on the nation and giving marching orders to security agencies to fish out the masterminds of the attack. More on security matters. The Katsina State Police Command says it's thwarted a kidnap attempt and rescued victims of the incident unhurt. Police spokesman ASP Abubakar Sadiq, in a statement on Wednesday, said the success followed a distress call notifying the police of an attack in Hayin Dam village in Kankara local government area by some suspected armed bandits. He added that the hoodlums had, during the attack, invaded the residence of one Kabir Magaji, aged 35, of the same address in a bid to kidnap him alongside his wife and Saadatu Magaji, aged 20. ASP Sadiq advised members of the public to promptly report anyone seen with a bullet wound, as some of the suspects escaped the scene with gunshot injuries. While commending the officers for their display of bravery, dedication and professionalism, the State Commissioner of Police, CP Aliyu Musa, urged people of the state to continue providing the command and other security agencies in the state with timely information on suspected criminal activity to enable the command and other security agencies take swift and decisive action against criminals in the state. Still on security matters, gunmen have reportedly killed 2 farmers in Onikpi community in Adoka district of Otokpo local government area in Benue State. According to locals, other farmers were injured while some went missing in the attack, which happened on Tuesday morning. The locals said the victims were working in their farms when the invaders struck. Caretaker Council Chairman of Otokpo local government area, Alfred Oketa Omako, confirmed that 2 farmers were killed. Omako also said 12 people were injured during the attack and taken to the hospital for treatment, while tricycles loaded with yams were burnt along the farm road. He said it is the first time Onipi community has come under attack. The State Police Command is yet to respond to inquiries about the incident. Nigerians have been advised to desist from using charcoal and other substances to wash their mouths in order to maintain the best oral hygiene, especially in the morning and at night. A dental therapist, Bon Bartholomew, gave the advice on the sidelines of an event commemorating the 2024 World Oral Health Day in Gombe. Trustee Ves Adamu Imam has details of this report.
The World Oral Health Day is celebrated globally every year on the 20th of March to empower people with the knowledge of how to prevent and control oral diseases, which affects nearly 3.5 billion people worldwide. The day also seeks to encourage people to look after their oral health by adopting routine oral hygiene and managing risks of tooth decay.
So we advise that you use a chewing stick effectively by brushing a tooth at a time, So you have to brush it at the tooth at the same time. The using of charcoal and sand and salt, honestly speaking, we discourage such, because when you are using those things, they are very corrosive. They tend to erode the harder part of the tooth and expose the middle layer and the inner layer, and it exposes one to sensitivity.
Experts say effective oral health can help keep the mind and body health, protect against the spread of infections, and maintain good looking.
The presence of tooth in the mouth, it helps person to speak very well, to digest food very well, to maintain his facial profile.
Concerns were raised on the best form of oral hygiene, especially among family members, as knowledge on the subject matter seems limited.
I use salt to clean up in case of any odor. I use salt to clean up my mouth and then go to work. But in the process of day-to-day activity, if I eat something like onions or something that I know that will cause my mouth to smell, I still use salt to clean up.
We use chewing stick. My grandmother, the same thing. If you don't chew, use your chewing stick, and then you come and show her that grandma, this is she say, okay, that's when you go and eat.
The 2024 edition of the World Oral Health Day has the theme, "A happy mouth is a happy body." Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Gombe.
And on to political matters. Ahead of the off-cycle elections in Ondo and Edo states, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmoud Yakubu, has tasked civil society organizations on the need to file in their observation report from previous elections or risk accreditation for the polls. Yakubu made this known at the quarterly consultative meeting with civil society organizations at the INEC headquarters in Abuja. Neil Sampson has more.
The INEC chairman noted that while INEC will continue to partner with CSOs, it is mandatory for civil society organizations to file in observation reports from elections conducted in the past, as it is a requirement for accreditation for future polls. He also called on the CSOs to engage political parties to strengthen their advocacy for inclusivity of groups such as women, youths, and persons living with disabilities.
I urge civil society organizations to engage with political parties and observe their primaries, just as you engage with INEC and deploy observers to the main election conducted by the Commission. By doing so, you will strengthen your advocacy, particularly for inclusivity for groups such as women, youth, and persons with disability that are underrepresented in elective offices at national and state level. May I therefore seize this opportunity to remind those that are yet to submit their observation reports that it is mandatory to do so, being one of the conditions for eligibility to observe future elections. Going forward, the Commission will operate strictly on the policy of no observation report, no accreditation.
A representative of the CSOs, Mufulait Fijabi, says they will collaborate with political parties to strengthen the observation of primaries leading to the emergence of candidates.
It's very important that we continue to work together as civil society organizations with the election management body, considering the need to deepen democratic practice in Nigeria. We have also taken very seriously the very important need for an inclusive democratic process driven by the kind of election that we all work together to have in this country. And of course, the fact that civil society organizations already work with political parties would also strengthen its observation of primaries leading to the emergence of candidates in elections.
Nigerians are hopeful that INEC will deliver an election that will reflect the will of the people. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is the news update. Still ahead. Cultural heritage mixed with business traditions as Agiogo community commemorates fishing expedition. The news update continues in a moment. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thanks so much for staying with us. Now let's take a look at our top stories again. Nigeria Labour Congress holds nationwide protests at Labour Party headquarters. Service chiefs, senators in closed-door session over soldiers' killing in Delta State. And now moving on to more stories. And now to health matters. The Nigerian Medical Association in Plateau State on Tuesday uncovered a fake doctor, George Osai, who operates as medical doctor, at religious centers and schools in the state. The association said it had been trailing Osai for a long time without success until Tuesday, when the association appeared at a church while he was operating. A statement jointly signed by NMA State Chairman and Publicity Secretary Bapigan William Audu and Stephanus Bintum Bako said Osai was arrested in collaboration with the State Ministry of Health. The NMA chairman, however, called on members of the public to report any suspected fake doctors to them, as drastic measures would be taken to investigate the matter. He commended security agencies for their cooperation and enjoined the public to always seek the services of health professionals within the confines of a health facility, rather than engage in anyone selling medicines or claiming to be a medical doctor.
So I know as I'm in this mess, probably it's because I've been caught before, but I think my eyes are open now. Please don't step adjusting with mercy. I know I've heard all these things they took me into it because of lack of job. I was so downcasted at the point I was depressed. Please find a hand to please finally you know how to forgive me. I will make a change with Christ. Find my peace with my God. I will carry the cross for myself. I know I've started it already. But please forgive me.
Agiogo, a riverine community on the south brink of the River Benue in Makurdi, is mostly occupied by the Jukun tribe, known for fishing and preservation of a natural pond where they organize a fishing exercise once in a year. Trust TV captured the sights and sounds of the 2024 edition of the expedition, as reported by Jimmy Azande. Let's take a look.
According to locals here, fishing is an ancestral art that has been preserved from time immemorial among the Jukun ethnic group. Although the pond is open to all, including visitors, as we found out, Jukun residents have however adopted this fishing exercise as a yearly routine.
This place has been in existence for quite a long time, even before our forefathers. So what they usually do is that every year during the rainy season, they blocked it. And as soon as the water begins to dry up, some of the fishes will remain inside here, which after sometimes they allow the public to come and catch. All right, but up to now, as you can see them, they come for fishing, and it has really helped people from this community. Some of them to build house, some of them to even raise some money to go into business.
From the harvest to the annual ritual, the community head has a sharing formula that is accepted by everyone.
Due to the catching of the fish in this community, Agiogo community, distribution will give every client their own. The stranger within the community, the chief will call them, still give them compound by compound. So for a long time, since my father, even me, it is through this kind of catching of fish, my dad trained me in the school. So both my own children, both fishing. You need a good management that will look after the fish pond, the pond very well. The fish, how the water is going to dry, the coming of the water. So this one is very good management that you will see the fish.
They also said most youths in Agiogo community live decent lives through fishing by making proper use of the River Benue.
My benefit in this fishing, so I train my children for school, I pay their fees, I feed them, I buy the clothes. More than 30 or 40 something years. I have 5 kids. Then I train them for the fishing.
Residents come out in their numbers to participate as it is tradition. In the past, the depth of the pond yielded more fish, but in recent times, the river is gradually drying up due to natural and man-made factors that call for immediate dredging. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Jimmy Azande from Benue State there. And now we take it away from Nigeria. United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken returned to the Middle East on Wednesday for his 6th visit since the start of Israel's war with Hamas to push for a deal to secure a temporary pause in fighting and the release of hostages held by Hamas. Blinken will meet Saudi leaders in Jeddah and Egyptian leaders in Cairo to discuss talks brokered by Egypt and Qatar on an agreement as well as efforts to get more aid into Gaza. According to State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller, talks on a ceasefire are resuming this week in Qatar, but weeks of tough negotiations have yet to forge an agreement between Israel and Hamas that Washington hopes will help alleviate the humanitarian crisis gripping Gaza. Blinken said he would also pursue conversations on arrangements for governance, security, and redevelopment of post-conflict Gaza. Tensions have heightened between U.S. President Joe Biden's administration and the government of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who on Tuesday rebuffed Biden's plea to call off a planned ground assault in the southern Gaza city of Rafah, where more than 1 million displaced Palestinians are sheltering. Finally, in sports news, two-time African Games champion and world record holder in women's 100-meter hurdles, Tobi Amusan, is vying for a 3rd consecutive title at the Games as she lines up in the final at the University of Ghana Sports Complex on Wednesday. Amusan demonstrated her dominance in the heats of Tuesday, clocking a time of 13.03 seconds to qualify for the final. Unfortunately, Stella Ayanleke, another Nigerian in the same heat, missed out on the chance to make the podium after finishing fifth with a time of 15.09 seconds. Faith Osamuyi also secured her spot in the final by placing second in her heat with a time of 13.55 seconds behind Madagascar's Sidoni Fiadantosa. Amuson and Osamuyi will return to the track at 6:30 p.m. today, with the world record holder being the favorite to secure her third title after previous victories in Brazzaville and Rabat. And that concludes the news update at this hour. But remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. Thank you so much for watching. Join us again. I'm Aisha Salihu.